So about 3 years ago, I was staring at my laptop screen. It's 2 a.m. in the morning and I've got less than $100 in my bank account. I can openly admit my stomach was in knots. I'd been refreshing my bank account app and that number is never ever going to change unless you go do something about it. And I remember the exact moment. I was sitting at my desk. I had no idea what I should be doing. And I'm wondering how someone who has built companies, gone and spent 5 years at university, getting an undergrad degree, getting a postgrad degree from Durham, ended up in this way. I was confused about how you can end up with doing everything right in a lot of ways and still ending up broke. Now, fast forward a few years later and today, and we built multi-six-figure businesses. We've built multiple successful online revenue streams. But here's what no one's going to tell you. That transformation from being broke to my first $10,000 a month didn't take years of grinding. It took me about 30 days of being in a desperate situation to really double down on focus and action. This isn't just another success story where I gloss over the messy parts. I'm going to walk through the step-by-step method and ways in which I took to go from zero to $10,000 a month within 30 days. Now, there are failures, there are rejections, there are panic, but the exact moment and the exact moves which helped me break this through, I put into a set of action items you can follow today. Because if you're watching this and you're in your own conundrum at the moment and you need more than motivation sometimes, you need a map. So let me paint you the picture where I'd been riding a high. I had just graduated and I'd also built businesses such as an online gaming business. I'd built multiple consultancies and I kind of got rid of everything. I've really stripped it down to go, okay, I want to start fresh. I wasn't too sure what I wanted to be doing. With that in mind, there's a big area of trying to work out what that next big thing is for me. And it really hit me like a freight train that I want to be working remotely. I want to be freelancing. I want to be consulting. And I want to be using the skill sets I had developed while studying, but also the skill sets I developed by building businesses, particularly my online gaming business. Because during that point, I had a huge amount of ups. I had thousands of active users. I had a really fun active business. I had really great products as well. But personally for me, I didn't enjoy working in the consumer market. I wanted to work business to business and I like building stuff which is cool. And the day everything got shut down, I remember walking home and past all these office buildings of people with steady paychecks. And I felt personally like, I kind of felt like I was a failure because although I'd built something cool, it was now zero. I then had gone off, got a degree, and I kept being asked, when am I going to get a real job? This really stopped me from trying to work out what I want to be doing. For me, I didn't want a real job. I didn't want to work in the city. I didn't want to be bored, but I did want to make good money. After sending a dozen job applications and not really wanting to go work into a world where it's corporate, I had this almost revelation. I'd been playing the wrong game entirely. I was so obsessed with trying to think about what I should be doing, I forgot the most basic rule of business. And this was solve expensive problems for people who can pay. And at that moment, it was kind of a revelation. Grabbed a notebook and started writing down everything I actually knew how to do. Not my dreams, not my aspirations, not my 10-year plan, my actual proven skills. Now, realization here is it really isn't. You need to understand what of your skills you have. You can solve problems that keep people like CEOs, CTOs, CFOs up at night. And these are the types of problems people will pay premium prices to make them disappear. So getting into the research mode here, day one, I started up actually opening up a platform called Upwork. A lot of people online hear about Fiverr. For me, I found Fiverr attracted a very cheap, kind of low-end market. Now, that's not always the case, but from my perspective, that's where I came to agree. And actually, I started opening up platforms like Upwork, where it's a little bit more premium. And I didn't just search randomly. I approached this like a market research problem, and this is what you need to do. Created a spreadsheet and started documenting every single job posting, which was over $1,000, and started categorizing them by industry, problem type, budget range, urgency level, and required skills. Now, what I found is actually after a few hours of research, patterns started to emerge. The highest paying problems fell into 3 categories. Number 1, our CRM is a mess and we're losing leads. Number 2, we need to automate our sales processes. And number 3, we need a custom tool, but we don't really want to hire developers, or we want it to be easily editable. And these weren't just gigs, they were symptoms of larger business problems, such as a messy CRM meant lost revenue, manual sales processes meant wasted payroll, and needing custom tools meant operational inefficiency. So day 2, I dove deeper. I started reading the client's language carefully. One posting said, our sales team spends 3 hours per day on data entry. Now, very quick math. You can work out 3 hours times 5 salespeople at $50 an hour with 250 working days a year is about $187,500 per year on wasted payroll. If I could automate that for $5,000, it's going to be a no-brainer for them. Day 3 was all about competitive intelligence. I studied successful freelancers in the categories. What were they charging? How are they posting themselves? Most importantly, what were they missing? And what I started to notice were most business proposals were generic. They were focused on features rather than outcomes. So over the next few days, this is where I became very, very specific on positioning and preparation. I couldn't just afford to be another freelancer. I needed to position myself as the obvious choice. So I spent 4 days crafting my story, nothing fake, but my real story framed through the lens of solving business problems. Instead of selling a business or being a failed startup founder, I became an entrepreneur who built systems handling thousands of users and knows how to scale operations efficiently. I also knew how to scale problems inefficiently. So I know the mistakes and pitfalls it's easy to fall into. And admitting where you have mistakes and failures is never a bad thing. Showing how you can learn from them and showing how you can improve someone else's business without falling into those same pitfalls is insanely valuable. So day 5 was very much about social proof. I didn't have client testimonials, but I did have results from my own ventures. So I built automated processes dealing with 10,000 plus users per day. I reduced manual processing time with custom automations. I'd also built CRM solutions and managed many customer records. And these are all true. So reframing that into a business context allowed me to talk effectively and also show demonstrations and examples. Now, if you don't have anything here, one of the best ways to really build a portfolio or testimonials of experience is by developing the solutions yourself and showing them as a demo, showing them as an example of a portfolio, which is very easy to explain of, okay, great, well, here is something I built similar and this is how it would work. And you can sell prospective clients on that experience because what you're doing is you're demonstrating you have value and you're demonstrating your experience, even without having all of the data populated. So day 6, 7 is where I spent creating what I call the proof of competence portfolio. I recorded myself building and talking about actual solutions, not getting too tech heavy, but talking much more about how something functions and what the outcome is and what the benefit is. There's a great framework called FAB, which is just feature, advantage, benefit. What the advantage and benefit is to a specific feature, it's going to make it very easy to sell that process. So I looked at building actual solutions, such as a complete CRM in HubSpot. I also did a complete CRM in Salesforce, a no-code customer portal using Bubble, an automated reporting dashboard using Zapier at the time. I'd highly recommend Make.com now, Google Sheets. And these weren't for clients, they were just demonstrations. But they showed I could actually deliver work, not just talk. So now you've got your portfolio, now you've got your ideas, now you've got your skill sets. Day 8 is really where momentum starts shifting. Instead of just sending generic proposals, I stopped myself. These weren't job postings, these are real people with real problems. So let's treat every single proposal like a mini consulting session. Once again, deliver upfront value, show how you can benefit clients. And this is where I discovered the power of Loom videos. My first video proposal, terrible. I rambled for about 12 minutes trying to explain everything I could do. Client never responded. But what I learned over trial and error and over a couple of days here was to refine my approach. And by that day 10, I had this down. There's a 5-minute formula that actually works and you can copy it directly for now. The first 30 seconds goes, hi, I notice you're struggling with X specific problem, and talk about it, talk about what's on their posting. Next 90 seconds, show them their own problem using screen share or similar issues. The next 2 minutes, walk through exactly how you would solve it step by step. Next 60 seconds, show a similar solution I'd built from my proof portfolio. Final 30 seconds, clear pricing and next steps. But personalization here is key. For a company struggling with lead tracking, I'd go to their website, I'd sign up to their newsletter, and I'd show exactly where their funnel was breaking. This definitely took more time. It doesn't take 5 minutes, it takes 15 to 20 minutes per proposal, but your response rate goes up drastically. Now, the next few days up to day 14, this is just a blur of video proposals. I set a goal of 20 quality proposals per day, which meant I was working from the morning to the evening. But needing money and needing to build a career is a hell of a motivator. And rejections did come. Too fast, we decided to go another direction, we're not ready yet, and each no sucks. But important thing is consistency and just to keep moving forward, because at one point, someone will say yes. And this is where I got a breakthrough. There's a small digital company and the CEO came back to me and was like, this is exactly what we need. When can you start? Jumped on a quick Zoom call and instantly started working. Then I also had a consultant in the States and then had a consulting partner from a government agency, which I did not expect, to do some analysis over hundreds of thousands of records they had. And instantly I had about 3 jobs. And this was where I started getting momentum shift. And this enabled me to jump onto these Zoom calls, talk really passionately about what I like, what I don't like, and learning the volume in potential revenue clients you're losing. What I realized was charging $5,000 or so for a 2-week implementation was an instant yes, because you're solving massive problems costing tens of thousands of dollars per month. And I probably could have charged double. Even when people try to negotiate, there's a big value here in holding firm, remembering that you don't want to accept bad deals. There's almost always a direct correlation between people who pay the least and people who cause the most problems. And now what I found is my next kind of later half of my first month were a little bit surreal. I now had tens of thousands of dollars in signed contracts, and I had a new problem. I now was overworking and slightly overemployed, and I had to work on delivering all of these promises. My view though is this is a good problem to have. I barely slept in my first 2 weeks. I was working on different projects for CRM development, low-code development. My office became a cave of monitors where I had different projects up and a series of lots and lots of empty coffee cups and ordering food. But I was super, super exciting. And something magical happened during those sleepless nights. What I ended up doing was developing systems, templates, and shortcuts. While building these products out, I kept a really strong tracking of what I was doing. I was keeping everything logged inside Google Docs. And my big goal was to start becoming more of a operational machine here, where I can take what I'm building for clients, document how I've done it, and then know that I can then solve these problems on repeat for other people. This helped me build an unexpected realization. This wasn't just an emergency money anymore. These companies were calling back with new feedback, new work, new ideas. I was able to pitch my own ideas, and this is when it hit me. I'd been so focused on hitting that 10K mark that I hadn't seen the bigger picture. Is when you can complete positive work like this, the positive testimonials start coming in as well, and referrals start flowing in. My Upwork profile started getting more views, started getting more traction, and the consulting firms left me glowing reviews. And also people start mentioning specific ROI numbers. You can jump onto Zoom calls and start getting testimonials. So this meant through my 30 days, I was still grinding. I was finishing products, sending proposals, managing client communications. And this really went from zero skill to a fully running operational low-code, no-code software business, which I did not expect to have built. It did come from insane amounts of work. It does take a lot of rejection, does take a lot of proposals, does take time, but also then reflecting that with really high quality, very high quality proposals, and then ensuring the fact that when you deliver products, you deliver at high quality. If you get those two pieces right, you find referrals, repeat business, and scalable business start coming in. And your proposal rates start going maybe to start with at $50 an hour, they suddenly can shoot up to $100, $150 an hour. My first 30 days following this method works. You can cross the $10,000 mark. And importantly, now what you have is momentum. You go from 0 to 30 days. And if you're currently sat here right now, in 30 days time, you can be sitting and reflecting, following this path. Quite what a lifestyle shift and quite what a reality shift your world has changed. Here's what those 30 days have taught me. There are harsh truths no one tells you online. Number one, desperation is a powerful catalyst. When you have no safety net, you'll find capabilities you didn't even know exist. Number two, high value skills are everywhere. Tools such as CRM work, automation, no-code development, these aren't exotic skills, but they do solve expensive problems. One of my third most important ones is personalization beats automation every time. Those time-intensive Loom videos outperformed every templated approach, trying to do volume over quality. Next, premium pricing is about positioning. The same problem, same skills, and positioning them as solutions instead of tasks changes everything. It makes life so much easier. It makes clients understand from a less tech-savvy perspective, and it also means you can demand premium pricing. And platforms are gold mines. They aren't coal mines. Platforms such as Upwork, Fiverr. Now, I would probably lean more towards Fiverr not being the best example here, but Upwork particularly are not just for bottom feeders. Your premium clients there, they're looking for premium solutions. And the exciting point, 10K is just the beginning. Once you crack the code of selling value instead of time, your ceiling disappears. So looking back at that journey from $47 to $10,000, wasn't about learning new skills or finding secret opportunities. It was about being in a position which forced me to stop playing startup founder and start solving real problems for real money. If you're watching this in your own moment of desperation, here's what I want you to know. You probably already have the skills that solve expensive problems. You just haven't positioned them correctly. Stop building what you think people need. Start solving problems people are already willing to pay to fix. The path from broke to breakthrough isn't comfortable, but these 30 days were very brutal at the start, but super exciting by the end of it. And discomfort is temporary. Regret, though, is permanent. So today, I challenge you, open up Upwork, find one problem you can solve, create a Loom video. It will suck, but it will get you over that first hurdle. And send one proposal. Wake up tomorrow, do it again. Because in the next 30 days, you could be writing your own transformation story. Or you could still be reading about someone else's. So the choice 100% is yours. And the clock starts now. Now, if you enjoyed this video, there should be a video up here which talks a little bit more about some different experiences and different ways in which you can really kind of get started and what tools there are. So thank you for watching. Hope you have a great day. Take care.